There's a show I would love you and Alyssa to review on your podcast. It's called Boo. It's not good. Low budget, predictable mess, but it would be hilarious to hear y'all rip it up. Here you go.
Hey there, horror movie tea sippers.
The following podcast will contain spoilers for the movie we are about to review. If you have not seen the movie and do not wish to have anything ruined prematurely, then please do not continue to listen until after you have seen the movie.
And welcome to the Horror Movie Tea Podcast. Today, we are covering Boo. But not the Boo where it has like a scary monster in the cover and it's like yellowed out, or the Medea Boo.
The Asylum one. This is the 2019
Boo with an exclamation mark. Yeah, so the summary.
I don't know where to start with this.
Well, luckily the summary for the... Well, okay, first tea. Yes, tea. I took the time to make some more brutalities this time. And I did the paint it from white to Earl Grey tea. And I really like this one. It smells
that
really
sounds
good.
delicious. I didn't remember that one being on there.
Well, I don't remember if it was one that you got me.
I don't think it was. I think that was one you bought separately.
No, I think Brandy ended up getting it for my birthday. But yeah, it's
had everyone sending you tea.
Yeah, I was a lucky girl that day. Well, what's interesting is this Earl Grey doesn't have black tea; it's green tea, but it has a mixture. It has like your typical like bergamot, but also has like orange flavoring and some sort of like blue flower in it. I think they called it like a cornflower. I don't know. It smells and tastes good though.
Nice. Very nice. I went with Bigelow's ginger peach turmeric.
That sounds...
Because I did a lot of errands and things yesterday and I am sore. So this is for the sore muscles. So everyone with your New Year's resolutions and everything, I know fitness is almost always on the list for everyone. This helps.
What does your mug say?
Oh, there might be shine in here. Don't judge.
Shine like alcohol, I'm assuming.
Time moonshine in here. That is for later.
Well, anyways, Boo. So this, I didn't grow up with this, but I know Jess said that she did. So in some neighborhoods, they will... Well, okay, I think it might be better for you to explain than me.
This is fine. Okay, so there's this thing around Halloween every now and then, and they've started doing some rendition of it for Christmas too, where you put together this pack of like candy and stuff, and just little knickknacks and things. It's usually mostly candy. And a little note, and you go up to a random house in your neighborhood, you place it on their doorstep or on their doorknob or whatever, and then you ding-dong ditch it. That's essentially what you do, is you ring the doorbell and run away. And the note says you've been booed. It's a chain letter, essentially. You have to pass it on to X number of houses in the neighborhood. Pass it on. And it's a fun thing that's supposed to like spread joy and just harmless mischief kind of stuff throughout the neighborhood. And it's just to get people in the mood for that season. So some people during like Christmas will do like candy canes and treats and things like that. And for Halloween, it's usually candy. And it has like a ghost on the note, and you just pass along the ghost.
So this movie is kind of built off of that idea, and I think you explained that really well. Thank you for that. And so the this family received one of those boo notices, but the father is like, he's extremely religious, I should preface with. And so he's like, this is like evil, and he's not really for
Paganism.
Yeah, he's not really a fan of Halloween. And the son is kind of freaking out, being like, if you don't do this, we're going to get cursed. Like, something bad is going to happen. And he explains a story where, like, this one lady ignored it and she ended up, like, dying in her bathtub, something random like that.
That was the cousin. A friend's cousin ignored it. And they died in a bathtub. And then this Vietnam vet, like 70 years old, got booed. They did it as a joke, and he ended up dead too.
Yeah, just very reliable resources. But anyways.
The urban legends.
Yes.
Friends of friends.
So naturally, the curse ends up being real. And what's kind of interesting is the father, mother, and then the teenage daughter, they're kind of reliving traumatic or hard memories of their past, while the kid is more like fighting off being possessed. And the movie ends with the kid lighting the house aflame. And yeah, that's really all there is to it. So, entertainment. I'll start off with this one because I know you're gonna go on a small, hopefully small, rant.
I'ma try.
So, this movie for me was extremely boring. And I like that they were kind of choosing a more unique idea, but the way that it played out and was executed was awful. Like, the characters were extremely bland, the scares were extremely bland. Really, the only scare that I liked the most was the one where the kid had on, I forgot what the little, where you put in a disc
like
and these
rotary
Yeah, like that was a really cool scene where you see the ghost through the picture that he's, switching to coming up to him. But besides that, I was falling asleep. Like, I started watching this movie wide awake, and by the end, I'm like, I could use a nap. So, this movie is going to be very low. I think I'm going to give it like a 2 for entertainment. What about you?
Honestly, I agree. It was very bland and boring. There was fish abuse. There was child neglect. There was poor parenting, alcoholism. It was just a hot mess. And it was so boring. We just did not care about any of the characters.
If anything, we wanted something to happen. Yeah.
We did. We wanted anything to happen. And when it was happening, we're like, this could have been better. Like, a lot of the scares were really cliche, and they just weren't interesting. So, I give it a solid 2.
Like, honestly, it feels like a step up from a student film. Like, the way that they were filming, they obviously were well versed in, I guess, is it called film theory? I don't know. But they knew what cinematography was, but it was specifically maybe not even the pacing, but the characters were extremely bland. The scares were extremely bland. Like, there was no really any creativity to it, which really was hugely detrimental to the film. Like, it's not even a fun film to, like, laugh at. It's just
not. This is one you turn on if you want a nap.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not even one of those it's so bad that it's entertaining. It's like it's so bad that it's boring, forgettable. I had to keep my sanity while we were watching the movie. I had to like doodle. I couldn't do it otherwise.
Half dozing in my chair.
I could not.
Just nod off. Your head just jerks up like, oh God, I was almost asleep. It's that kind of movie.
Yeah.
Also, when the father does finally start looking into the stories and things to see if there's anything substantiating what the son was saying. We couldn't pay attention to anything that he was finding on the screen because we were freaking out over the fact that there was a dog there that they hadn't mentioned or shown the entire movie. And suddenly, halfway through, where did this dog come from that looks perfectly comfortable laying next to him on the couch?
Yeah, like the...
Why is it not freaking out from the kid behind him without any eyes? Like...
Yeah, like the pacing of this movie, everything about this movie except maybe some of the screenshot, but even some of the cinematography, it's just very typical, very boring. There's nothing special about it that created, because a lot of horror movies, they really like to play with the cinematography to create a sense of fear and being uncomfortable or feeling claustrophobic. It didn't try any of that. There was
no intensity, no sense of urgency.
And the soundtrack was kind of weird. It kind of gave me a It Follows vibe with the 80s soundtrack.
80s feel.
Yeah.
Sure. Very 80s-esque. Like some of the scares that would have been good are negated by the fact that the thing appears in like a sheet. Like when the son goes to the front door hearing something, you kind of see like the cross moving up to turn upside down, which cliche. And then he gets to the door and behind him you see a figure in a sheet.
Yeah.
Which it could have been scary if it was literally anything else, but you're appearing in a sheet. All I can think about is Beetlejuice.
Well, and another thing that was kind of interesting is I feel like they did the sheet thing as a more practical effect to save money. But then, like, for example, when the mother saw her baby that she had a miscarriage on, the blood in the crib was CG. It's like that. It would have made way more sense. Yeah, it would have made way more sense to use practical effects for that. Mm-hmm. Just this, yeah. It
was all over the place.
I do feel like if you executed this type of movie correctly, that it could have been done well. I don't think it was necessarily their choice of the storyline or their idea on having these characters like live through their traumatic past necessarily. It's all the execution, how interesting they made the characters. I mean, the teenage girl was your stereotypical, like, rebellious teenage girl. The mother was...
an alcoholic.
Yeah, like, her personality trait was being an alcoholic and a drug addict. Like, she would take pills. And then the kid, he had the most personality out of all of them, but even that was like... I'm scared of everything. Yeah. That was his personality.
He noticed that no one was really there for each other. They had all pretty much checked out of the family.
Yeah.
And he was terrified of everything.
Yeah.
But had terrifying things all around his room.
Yeah, like he he killed the dolls, but like there's one doll that had like colored pencils sticking through its eyes. So this kid is obviously like borderline disturbed, if not disturbed. But then he's like scared of monsters.
Yeah, he's like drawing all these things, which is a good outlet for him to be able to draw these things that he might be terrified of. But at the same time, these images are really disturbing and they really needed to get him help.
Yeah, I didn't understand where they're trying to go. Like, whenever they first started off with him, like with him quoting the boo letter or the saying, and then also then switching to the dolls, I thought that he was supposed to come off as like a very demented, like scary kid, like you should be careful around him. But then they turned him into this scared,
sad,
like immature, yeah.
Like you felt bad for him.
Yeah. I mean, out of all of them, I definitely like the kid the most, but they were the least consistent with him for sure. Because the other characters were like, oh, he's super religious. Oh, she's a rebellious teenager. Oh, she's an alcoholic. But the kid is like, is he demented? Is he a scared kid? Like, yeah. What is he?
And like the revelations, quote unquote, in this movie don't matter because you don't care about the characters. They don't make you care about them. They don't give you a reason to at all. So, like when you find out that the mom had what we guess was a miscarriage in the same house, and the father wasn't there for her. And then the teenage daughter not feeling comfortable with her boyfriend telling her, I love you, because she doesn't feel comfortable saying it back.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally saying it to her father toward the end, trying to get him to come back to himself and so they can get out. And then like the father telling the son about his childhood and him dropping cherry bombs above a kid that was bullying him, that we guess lost his eyes and or died.
Yeah, they didn't really.
Question mark.
You just see the ghost. That's the only inference that you get on what actually happened to the kid. But then they also put the kid in suspenders. I'm like, I'm sorry, the dad's not that old. Suspenders hasn't been in for a long time.
Specific kind of school with really old-fashioned uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
But it just didn't make that much sense.
No.
And I don't know. We don't know what these people do for a living, why they're in this kind of situation, what their situation even is.
Yeah,
the house is practically barren. Like there's hardly any pictures on the wall or anything. The boy, I don't remember seeing a bed frame. It's like a mattress on the floor.
Yeah, I don't know. This movie, the movie doesn't have any personality. The characters don't have any personalities. Like having a home decorated with like family photos or decor or whatever. That's a great subtle way of showing what a family is like. Like for instance, Krampus. Everything is in a certain order. It's very like pristine looking home. And you can tell that the mother is uptight. And so it kind of translates, like her personality kind of translates onto home. It's like allow your character's personality to reflect in the home.
Yeah. And I get that they're like absent so the house doesn't look lived in or anything. But if they've been there that many years.
Yeah, like make it look.
Have some clutter.
Yeah, make it look disorderly since the family themselves are. You know.
The family's in chaos
and
shambles. Have the house look that way too.
Yeah.
Do something, because it looks like you just didn't have enough of a budget to do anything in the house, which I guess could be the case.
But it's like, go to Goodwill, go to Dollar Tree, like, do something. Ask for donations. Go to family members, be like, is there any...
The cast and everyone bring one item from their house.
Yeah.
Do something.
It's like there's solutions to having a tight budget.
Yes. There's ways around it, and they just did not find it.
Nope.
Also, I'm going to stand on my soapbox. I'm going to try to keep it brief.
Should we move to the realism skill, though, before we do that? Or is it more for the entertainment skill?
It's more for the entertainment.
Okay,
because it really detracted from my ability to pay attention.
Okay, go ahead then. You may proceed.
This is a little bit of both, to be fair. A little bit of both. So, the fishbowl.
Knew it. I knew it.
It must be said that goldfish, really any fish, should not be in a bowl. Period. But especially goldfish. Goldfish get big. They are not quite as big as koi, but they can get fairly large. We have some here that are a good 6 inches or so long.
Giggity.
One goldfish needs at least 29 gallons. Add 10 more gallons per extra goldfish that you have. Because of the waste that they create. Goldfish are very messy fish, and they produce a lot of waste that are very ammonia heavy. It's a chemical that's produced from their waste, and it can actually burn their gills and it shortens their lifespan the longer that they're in that kind of environment. Think of it as you yourself are stuck in a 6x6x6 cell. Can you live in it? Yes. Will you be comfortable in it? Hell no. It will be dirty and gross and cramped. You don't have enough space to move around. It's disgusting to live in, and it's just not ideal.
Yeah.
Fish need space. They are living creatures, they are pets, and they require maintenance. So water changes are a must, and I hope to God they didn't have it in just plain tap water. But we will never know. And they need space, they need regular water changes and maintenance, and they need proper care to live a good life. Goldfish, if properly taken care of, can live 10 or more years. I know, that's a new concept, right, guys? Most people say, and even this movie, the mom went, oh, goldfish die, that's what they do, they don't live very long. They can. You just have to actually take care of it. It's like any other pet. You have to feed it properly, you have to give it enough space to exercise and move around in, and you have to maintain its area. Now, it can't move around the house like a dog or a cat can. So you have to change out the water in its home to make sure that it stays in a comfortable environment with less waste and less ammonia in it.
I think that is a pretty good point to bring up, though, just as a side note, because I feel like since fish are well, not just a different species, but a different, branch of the tree of life, that we don't really think of them as sentient beings that respond to their environment and stuff like that. But I mean, they're just like mammals. Like they get upset. They recognize, when they're in a terrible living situation, and they're going to react to it accordingly.
And you can tell usually with a lot of fish, if they're stressed or not, their colors will be a lot more dull. They won't be as vibrant or active. Our goldfish here, we have 5 goldfish in a giant tank with plenty of space for them to swim in, and we do very regular water changes to kind of refresh their environment and get rid of all of their waste. And their colors are very, very vibrant, and they're very active, and they do actually recognize us. Anytime we're anywhere near their enclosure, they come directly to that area in their enclosure and start begging for food. And it's the cutest thing ever when they make little bubbles at the top waiting for food. So they do recognize the people that take care of them as well. I will get off the soapbox now.
Thank you. I think that was a very decent amount of rant without going overboard, without beating a dead horse.
But I'm tired of seeing the fish abuse in a lot of these movies, and I needed to say something.
To be fair, I had no idea myself, so I'm learning.
Yes. So you'll also hear a lot of myths and things. One of the biggest myths is the fish will only get as big as the tank will allow. And that is both true and false. The fish will stop growing at a certain point, but at that point, their growth is stunted. And their outsides will stop growing, but their internal organs will grow still until they're as big as they're actually supposed to get.
Oh my god, that's
which
awful.
Ends up killing the fish.
That's awful.
Yes. So it is a big, horrible myth. Please don't listen to it, guys. Please look up the proper care for the fish that you're getting, and look at especially the tank size and the water parameters, because certain fish like certain temperatures to feel comfortable and to live longer. Others need more water movement than others, so a stronger filter or like a water or air stone rather, to have bubbles that create more movement on the surface, or like a blower in there to make an actual current in the tank. So just check on the fish online before you get it. What does this fish like? What does it need to survive as long as it can? That way it'll also be more active, more fun to watch, and it'll be a lot prettier to look at. It won't be as dull colored to look at.
Or you can be like me, who realized that I was way over my head, and I promptly got rid of my fish. And I will not get another fish again.
That friend like me that just takes in the fish. As we took in a bunch of cichlids and goldfish and a crawfish and some shrimp. We have a fish room now.
But anyways, are you ready to move on to realism?
Yes. We can move on to realism now.
Okay,
Thank you
good.
guys for bearing with me on our fish talk. And we will move on to realism now.
So this has been Fish Talk.
Your TED Talk on fish.
The realism. This one I'm kind of stumped on because, like, for example, I think the fact that the family couldn't get out of the house when the house was lit on fire was dumb because they're just banging on the door. I'm like, break a freaking window.
Right next to windows.
Yeah, so it's like if you
literally right next to windows. There were windows right next to the door.
Yeah, so it's like there's that part of the movie, but then there's also, as bland and as stereotypical as the characters were, having a broken family like that, I mean, unfortunately, is pretty real. And, you know, there's more families like that than I wish to, yeah. So, I don't know. I'm kind of thinking a 4 or a 3. I don't know.
If we're basing it solely on the family dynamic, I'd say probably a 5 or 6. But with everything else going on and their stupidity with getting out of the house, I'd probably say about
a 3. Okay, I'm gonna go with the 3. I think now that you mentioned that, you know, one thing that I didn't think to add about the entertainment skill. Another thing that was super inconsistent is, like, the beginning of the movie. It had a guy walk into a house with a shotgun, and then he kills the people. Like, why? I thought that's how it was going to turn out. I thought a guy was going to try and come and kill them if they didn't, you know, continue on the thing. That's like the prank or whatever.
Well, I think it was showing that it possesses one person in the family.
Oh, and it kills the rest. That makes sense.
Because it was the guy with the shotgun in the beginning, which, honestly, I kind of forgot about. And then it's that boring, guys. And then we have the kid that lights a match and watches it gleam. La 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 la.
Yeah, but I don't have a whole lot else to say about the realism scale.
The big hit was entertainment, for the most part. I mean, they had a dog that you see for 2 scenes. One, when you realize it's even there on the couch. And then the next one, they kill it, which, excuse you, points off. Why was that even necessary? You didn't even need a dog that entire time. It added nothing to the story.
Well, see, like, it wouldn't have been so bad, but this particular dog killing scene, they have the dog, like, whimpering for, like, minutes, and you see blood everywhere. Like, it is horrible to watch.
Oh. And then they don't even mention the dog again after that.
Yeah, they're not even sad. They're just like, oh, the dog's dead. And then
the teenage girl was a little upset by it.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know how to help. What do I do? And then they cut to a different person. And then they never mention the dog again. Who I think's name was Torque.
I have no idea.
I think that's what she called it. Torque didn't deserve that. It was unnecessary.
But, like, I feel like the list of what was unrealistic is way longer than the fails on the entertainment scale. Like, at least we can sum up what made the movie suck in the entertainment scale. But for realism, it's like, really little nitpicky things. So I don't really have anything additional to add for realism. How about you?
Not really. It was just boring.
Well, I guess since realism is so short, if we were in that situation, I know I probably wouldn't be in that situation because I'm like, I'm going to pass this along. And,
Well, it's a fun little thing.
Yeah, continue the fun.
Stick out of his ass and just let the kid pass it along, but no. He had to be a jerk about everything.
Yeah. But if it ended up that maybe I forgot to pass it along or whatever, I would probably, like, if I saw things going on, I would maybe call a psychologist, and if they couldn't figure it out, then maybe call, some sort of paranormal investigator. I don't know, a psychic.
Who are you gonna call?
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I would. Well, I mean, I would have passed it on because I'm not stick in the mud. But if I had forgotten it, then and stuff started happening, hell yeah, I'm gonna make copies and grab candy ASAP and do it right then and there. And if that's still not going on, okay, then let me call someone. Also, we're leaving this house and sage everything.
Yes. But I feel like if that family had a good amount of therapy, then the movie probably wouldn't have happened.
Probably. Honestly, probably.
Therapy.
Probably. Communication.
Yeah.
And just being present for the family.
Mm-hmm. Not going with emotions, like truly being there to experience.
Yes.
What they're
and
feeling
listening.
And stuff.
But this movie does such an awful job of even showing that they are a family. Like when we first see the family at the breakfast table, you wonder if like the dad is the stepdad or something, just the way they're acting. Not the way they look, guys, just the way they're acting.
Yeah.
Because he seems very cold, very distant. I don't know,
he almost kind of
broken family, but
he kind of comes off as the abusive stepfather, and then you're like, oh, he's the actual dad. Oh,
yeah. And then they refer to him as dad and all, and they talk like he's the actual dad. We're like, okay, y'all need therapy.
Yeah.
Immediate. Y'all definitely need therapy.
And then, another thing that now that I noticed, the mom was extremely judgmental on the daughter.
Yes.
But I think the mother was kind of projecting onto her. Like, in the beginning of the movie, guys, the daughter has a tattoo, and the mother's like, that's permanent, right? And I'm like, first of all, tattoo, not that bad. I mean, if you're supposed to have...
On her arm.
Yeah, so easy to hide. Yeah. Like, that's not going to... It's not like she tattooed it on her face, and it's harder to hide for, like, a job or whatever. But, yeah. I feel like the mom was really harping on the daughter because she didn't want her to struggle like she was.
Judgy McJudgerson over there.
Yeah. But, I don't know. This movie is a cluster of chaotic boredom. And that's all I have to say about it. Don't do it. This is one of those movies, just avoid it.
Yeah. If you're thinking of watching this movie, I hope it's for nap time. Or as a what not to do for handling pets or kids.
Or horror movies in general.
Yeah, if you're watching this as like a template to make horror movies, this is in the what not to do pile.
Yeah, do the opposite of what this movie does.
Yes. Because really the only good actual semi-scare thing was him flipping through the pictures on the thing.
Yeah, like that, they could...
had potential. It still didn't come across quite well enough at the end.
Yeah.
Of the climax of the scare or whatever.
Yeah.
But up to that point, it was actually getting pretty good.
Yeah.
And then it fell flat.
Yep. I'd be interested to know, we didn't look this up prior, but I wonder how many movies that the director has done. But
I mean, I could potentially check.
okay, it's on IMDb, surprisingly. But
I'm going to take a look.
it's like the movie we watched last week, at least it had unending frustration as a part of it. This movie is just so blah. Like, you don't care about the characters, you don't care about the storyline. You're just waiting for it to end.
Directed 9 things, and 6 of them were shorts.
Well, maybe we'll have to watch their shorts for a bonus episode sometime.
I mean, we do like to watch scary short films, so if maybe his short films are better, question mark, hopefully. Hopefully they're better than this cluster.
Yeah. Well, I will say, moving from a short film to a full-length film, I can imagine there being some difficulties, because with a short film, you really have to pack a punch within a short amount of time. While this movie, a lot happened, so I'm not bashing it for nothing happening, but just there's really no build-up, and yeah.
It felt short, but that's mainly because there wasn't that much that was interesting about it.
Yeah, so we'll have to watch some of his shorts, and I hope that will better represent his talents.
We'll give it 2.
We'll watch the 2 most watched ones. How about?
Yes. If they're still awful, then there is no helping him.
It's like, go back to the drawing board, rethink your life. Life choices. Oh, man.
This was bad. Don't watch it, guys.
Yes, that's all you need to know.
We will have a palate cleanser next week because we've done a couple of really bad ones in a row. So we will be reviewing a good movie,
Yay!
a classic movie next week as a palate cleanser. Then we'll jump into our regularly scheduled mess.
Oh.
So next week we'll be doing The Shining. So join us next week for that, please, guys. And if you have any other suggestions or anything, please let us know. We're always looking for more suggestions and things to look into.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you wanted?
No, but I do want to say thank you guys for allowing us to hit 100 followers on Instagram. But now we have Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Though on all of those, we're honestly so close. Like YouTube,
So close, guys.
we have like 15 left. Facebook, I don't remember. I think we have 15.
I want to say it's like 15 or 14, somewhere around there.
And then Twitter, I think we need like 40 or 45. It's like, it's so doable. We're so close. So if you guys can please share our content, recommend it to somebody that you think will like our stuff, we would so appreciate it. We're getting close to our 1-year anniversary, and we want to have double the reason to celebrate.
Yes. And again, if we get 100 followers on Facebook, Alyssa has to watch Mars Attacks. Do it, guys. Please share the crap out of that site, please. And we'll see you next time. Until then, stay safe and stay spoopy. Bye.